The Henry Stickmin Collection. This got released in 2020. And this actually was a treat to play. And this is a game you don't play for the wins, you play it for the fails. However, I should go into some detail here. Uh, this was basically started out as a bunch of flash games. Often you could find them on like Newgrounds, find apps for on devices, but the collection consists of the 5 existing chapters and a final chapter. The 5 existing chapters are remastered, and they work in ways like a choose your own adventure type thing. First off, you have the first part, which is breaking the bank, which is the simplest of all the Henry Stickmin chapters. The only ending to it is, of course, the canon ending. Next one is, I think it's escaping the prison, in which Henry Stickmin must get out of prison. And again, there are multiple different paths you could take in this. 3 different endings, all of which have the same end result, getting Henry out of prison. Of course, the story is Henry's in prison, obviously for breaking into the bank in the previous chapter. Gets sent a package. We never find out. There is never stated who sent that package, even in the original release. And so you choose paths to get out one way or the other. And like I said, this is a game you play for the fails, because some of the fails, they don't even make logical sense. Or some of the successes don't make logical sense. Now, of course, some of the choices you get to make, some are, quote, quick time events, which, believe it or not, they will throw curveballs at you in the series. After that, we have Stealing the Diamond, where a diamond is on display at the museum, and of course you must steal it. And of course, again, there are various paths to take, and each chapter adds a little bit more lore to the whole Henry Stickmin universe. Oh, I should say Stickmin, not Stickman. Although the original games were all called the Henry Stickmin Collection, when they remastered it and sold it, they changed it from Henry Stickman to Henry Stickmin, with an I instead of an A. After that whole diamond escapade, you get mixed in with, I believe it's called Infiltrating the Airship, in which we are introduced to the Top Hat clan. All their members apparently wear hats. And so you are been taken on, put on this by the government. I mean, the Top Hat clan's an international ring, so they want to bring them down. Well, that all depends on how you choose your events. And again, you have some more funny references in that. And one thing they had fun with is they would put in all these references for various games over the years and various pop culture references and that. And that's what made it fun. I mean, you have one battle that looks like a Minecraft, or not Minecraft, Undertale battle. You have one that looks like it's right out, set up that's out of Final Fantasy, maybe even a setup out of Earthbound. It's kind of crazy. And if you look through the stealing the diamond chapter, you'll find a lot of pictures of various images. Some from looks like they're from Super Mario 64. You got the Windows 95 Maze screensaver on there. It's funny. And they throw in all sorts of crazy references, a device popping up from game to game, working. Maybe it won't work. No, it won't work. No, it didn't work this time. It can't work this time. Well, actually, it did. That kind of stuff. After you get done with infiltrating the airship, the next chapter, and infiltrating the airship has multiple endings. So is the next part, which is called fleeing the complex. This is personally one of my favorites. It's also a favorite of my daughter because it has probably one of the best fails in the game. The distraction, in which Henry jumps out, start doing this little dance with a clap in it. And the one guard joins in, and then the other guard joins in. And then the person you're escaping with joins in, and wait, what happened? What? Hey. That's the kind of one you can watch multiple times, just for laughs. Also, they would throw in other things. Another popular recurring character that came up was Calvin. Or no, Charles. Charles Calvin. Who lives by the mantra of, "This is the greatest plan." Apparently, he thinks that this plan involves taking the helicopter he's piloting and the craft he's piloting and crashing it into the target. Yeah, that don't work. But there's other noted references in there. I think we got Advance Wars reference in Fleeing the Complex. And the craziness of logic in these games. Oh, that's where it really gets crazy in this series. But after that was released, people waited a long time to see the final chapter get released. Now, I didn't necessarily find out about the final chapter until I think I saw Markiplier play it. Now, I gotta say this, Markiplier loves these games. That's how I first heard of them. Of course, he played them initially out of order. Because I think he started with, like Fleeing the Complex and then working through them, and obviously out of order. But, this is where the games really, really get fun. Once you get through, of course, Fleeing the Complex, the Henry Stickmin Collection had the final chapter, which was called Completing the Mission. To start this one, however, you must choose from the endings in the previous 2 installments, combining together, which will lead you to a whole bunch of outcomes. Some of them with purely comical mistakes, interactions. And this got released in partnership, I think, with Innersloth, the same company that makes Among Us. Fun game, too. And in that game, you can actually pick, or you can actually come across crew members in completing the mission, as one of your achievements is to gather the whole crew together, which means finding every last one. Well, 10. There's an 11th, he don't count. No, not 10, 12. What I can tell you is you can guarantee to find at least, you'll be guaranteed to find one in at least one per path. At most, one per path. So, there will be some paths that don't have crewmates in it. And each game, each way it plays out is pretty much its own story, and fits well into an overarching story. Great game to play. And this is a game you play for the humor, you play for the fails, you play for the laughs. And if you put some time in, do your research, you can get all the achievements. This is actually the first game on Steam I achieved 100% on. Or I believe they call that platinuming it. And that was actually fun to do. I think the trickiest part, however, was the profiles. Every character, pretty much every character, no matter how insignificant, has a profile. And some of the achievements are jokes in and of themselves. Some are easy to get, some are very hard to get, or tricky to get, I should say. But they all carry that humor in the series. Actually, when the Flash version of Fleeing the Complex was made, it actually had achievements in the game. I mean, obviously, not all those achievements made it into the Stickmin Collection, but I think that's a plus, because it made the game fun. And to change some of these things around, that was actually a brilliant move on their part. I mean, it worked better with some of the chapters, because it changes the jokes around, allows them to sneak in other things. And not all the achievements that you can get are, quote, easily named. Some are, quote, secrets. And you have to hunt them down, or find a guide online that'll tell you how to find them. I mean, there is one called for stealing a diamond called Connoisseur, in which you must steal all the paintings. Yeah, that one can be tricky, especially if you don't realize where you're missing paintings. But it's a good game. It's a fun game. And the addition of profiles, because some of them are jokes, some of them poke fun at have a little humorous jab at streamers. I think I saw one in there for, I think I saw ones for Jacksepticeye and Markiplier in there. Maybe saw some more for some of Mark's friends. I'd have to look through the profiles again. But it's a fun game. It's worth taking the time to play. You can go back to it, play it again for all you want, just for the giggles. I mean, let's face it. If you want to just watch some fails where Henry does something stupid, like thinking they'd keep an armed weapon in a museum, yeah, it's worth playing. I would definitely recommend this to anyone, especially if you just have a love of humor, a love of something silly, a love of something crazy. Because that's what it is. It's a fun game. It's a crazy game. Personally, I got one I got at its price, which I believe is $15. Definitely worth the money because it's if you ever feel down, watch Henry play the game and have Henry fail, and you'll feel up. Because, like I said, some of these fails are epically funny. And some of the ways you get past some obstacles are just as funny. It's a great game. Uh, and I thank you. I would urge you all to get this game and play it just for the laughs because that's what it is. It's silly. It's funny. It's a laugh. And that's all I'm going to say about the Henry Stickmin Collection. I want to thank you for listening, and I invite you, of course, to purchase the game and subscribe to the channel so you can hear more retrospectives on various games that were out there. Until next time, bye all.